Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this impromptu star party. It looks like we're being joined by Tom as well. Hello. I am Nicole Gugliucci, and I am the noisy astronomer and your impromptu hostess for tonight's virtual star party. Because even though Frasier has family obligations, you all are my family tonight. So, mine's up on the East Coast. And I am joined by Gary Gonella, who is to my left, according to my screen. How you doing, Gary?
Good. Yes, last minute thing.
Yay! And we have Thad Szabo, assuming I pronounced it right, who looks kind of like the Hulk. Yay! Who looks kind of like the Hulk tonight. He's a little green-faced. You are actually outside in the elements, doing it hardcore.
Yep, and if I stay out here much longer, I will. Well, no, I already can't feel my right hand very well from the cold. So
It's gotta be cold out there.
He's dedicated to the cause. And we have Tom. I don't know if his sound is on. No. Okay, well, Tom joined just as we went live, so we will hear from him as soon as he gets his camera and microphone all up and running. And I am now joined by double images. They're on either side of me of the Andromeda Galaxy. And they are just stupidly gorgeous. So let me see if I can highlight these so that you don't have to see me while I'm yapping.
yeah, so I guess we can see that. We have the same orientation for our images.
We do, yeah.
But Gary's field of view is a good bit wider than mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're getting the center.
Yeah, you're showing.
He's got a bigger scope. So.
Bigger scope means you can collect more photons. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can see the dust lanes, the bulge, and a couple of the satellite galaxies, which are M33, right? Is it the upper left?
M110 is at the upper left, and 32 is immediately right of due left. So.
Awesome. And when I was at UVA, one of the main research goals that was going on there was they were discovering dwarf galaxies around the Milky Way and Andromeda. And so there's really dozens and dozens of dwarf galaxies orbiting each of these big spirals that we can't necessarily see in an image. You kind of have to track the stellar kinematics to pull it out.
It's a busy neighborhood.
It is.
Some of them are really well hidden too. I mean, there's a couple of these dwarf galaxies in Sagittarius, which you have no hope of ever seeing visually.
Right.
There's also, what is it, Leo 1, the dwarf galaxy that is immediately adjacent to Regulus. So you'll never see it visually, but in a photograph it can show up with the right exposure and the right balances. So. Right.
Yeah, and there's even arguments in the literature back and forth about, is this really a galaxy or just an overabundance, in some direction? So some galaxies have been discovered and then taken back out and disappeared. So it's not as cut and dry as this picture where it's like M31. You can't miss that. You can't
lose your galaxy privileges.
Yeah, that is so pretty. So where are you, Thad? You're usually not outside.
No, I am at Joshua Tree Lake Campground. This is the home of the Southern California Desert Video Astronomers, and they are not here this weekend, but they let me use their very lovely setup out here in the desert, and I brought my astronomy club from Cerritos College up here with me. So they have a couple of scopes and binoculars set up around me here, but not broadcasting ability.
Yeah, yeah. So wait, did you call them the Video Astronomer Club?
Yeah, they will do something akin to what we do here, except they've got two 12-foot by 8-foot screens.
Whoa.
And so they'll plug a camera into the back of the scopes that they have here, and then just broadcast through a projector onto the screens out here.
Very cool.
So,
that is awesome. That is awesome.
Makes for a good show.
Astronomy for everyone.
Yay.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. I think I've seen a setup like that before. The Charlottesville Astronomical Society has done a video thing for our public nights when I was out in Virginia. And that is cool, because you don't have everyone, go in one by one at the eyepiece.
Right. Right.
That is helpful.
They'll even like bring local bands out here and play ambient music underneath the show while they're doing things out here. So
Love it. That's awesome.
yeah, they go whole hog.
So I would like to remind our viewers that if you want to comment and say hello, ask questions, make requests of our resident astronomers here, you can do so on Google+, any of the places that this has been posted and shared. I am still madly trying to track down the links, but I think I'm tracking them all now. You can comment on the YouTube page. We're tracking those comments as well. There's no event page, so there's no place to comment there. And if you're watching somewhere else and using Twitter, you can use the hashtag #StarParty, and we will pick that up. So, looking down at a couple of the comments that we have so far. Hi, tree lobsters.
And Howard says hello.
Hi! Hello! And loving Andromeda. Oh, someone's asking, why is Pluto not a planet anymore? We're never going to get away from that, are we?
It didn't pay its dues.
We are never, yeah. Long political story. I was a grad student when this happened, so this was just kind of all funny to me. Pluto, the planet had never been officially designated or defined by the International Astronomical Union. Dad, were you at that IAU meeting by any chance? Dad, we can't hear you.
Muted again.
He's muted. Yeah, so the few astronomers that were at that meeting, most of them didn't bother voting on it. They went out drinking because it was in the Netherlands, that meeting, I think. But the ones that did stick around did vote that on the definition of a planet that kicked Pluto out because it didn't meet the criteria. But I think it's very happy now as king of the dwarf planet. So, Ceres, the asteroid Ceres, has also been reclassified as a dwarf planet. It was once a planet. It was considered a planet when it was discovered and quickly dropped down. And you don't hear it complaining, so Gary, what are you? Are you showing?
It's the Bubble Nebula, but hang on, I just lost it here. My software isn't doing exactly what I expect it to do. There we go.
Ooh.
That's a 2-minute exposure of the bubble.
Okay, cool. And are you using special filters?
This is under hydrogen alpha.
Hydrogen alpha, cool. So this is
12 nanometer wide hydrogen alpha filter.
Very cool. Yeah, and we use these filters to let in specific spectral lines of light so that you're not getting as much of the ambient, but you are getting, there's the label.
Yep.
You are getting the recombination of the hydrogen gas. And so the bubble, I can't remember if this is star forming region?
I think last time we decided it was a leftover from supernova.
Oh, okay. I'm not as familiar with all my nebulae because I, as some of you know, do radio astronomy. So I'm like, what are these pictures? I am not as familiar with the night sky. I do not have the super awesome telescope skills you guys have.
Well, and with my, I just added the capability to this display program to put the labels on.
I love it.
And a couple of things are glitching. I have a go back function. And for some reason it takes me to the wrong image, but I'll fix it.
Okay, all right, cool.
So that'd be the bubble.
That's bubble, 2-minute exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Let's see
cool.
what else I can come up with.
It looks like we have Thad is still here, and Tom has rejoined, but I'm not hearing audio from either of them. So please say hello if you've got your mics working.
Yeah, I just got back.
Hi, there you are.
I don't have automated control of my scope, so I actually have to go stand and look through the finder and and get stuff in there. So, but I'm capturing M33 now. So
excellent. I wasn't sure if the bubble was a star-forming region or a supernova remnant. The Bubble Nebula.
Must have walked away again.
He walked away again.
No, wait.
Oh, here he is.
I'm still here, so
okay.
just...
what was the IAU meeting for? Socializing or business? Well, the IAU meeting is a meeting every 3 years of the International Astronomical Community where they present on science, they do business meetings, they do all kinds of stuff that has to be done in person every 3 years. But the last session was, or I think it was like the last day, the last session was when they did the Pluto vote, so everyone had kind of was like, all right, we're going home soon, hence the going out and drinking. Little something that astronomers do. Someone's asking, let's see, person's asking, those live shots of Andromeda. You just took those images, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So it's as live as you can get, as in it was just taken a few minutes ago. If it was live as in real time streaming to your eye, it wouldn't look so good because your eye has a much shorter exposure time than the camera, and so you're not going to collect as much light.
And for some reason, my stream was blinking on and off.
Yes, I noticed that.
Maybe it'll settle down now. Okay.
And they will be, will it be reinstated in 2015 when they're overwhelmed by the data from New Horizons? I am so excited for New Horizons. Whatever you call it, a planet or not, the exact name doesn't really matter when it comes to getting the awesome science. And we are going to be getting pictures of Pluto and Charon and hopefully some other Kuiper Belt objects that we're looking for right now at the Ice Investigators Project, and actually visit these worlds, because we have not had a flyby of Pluto ever. It's this really fuzzy sphere of a thing in the best Hubble images.
Or any Kuiper Belt object. The only icy bodies we've really visited are some of the moons of, of the giant planets.
Right,
but,
right.
But it's a totally different evolution, or would expect in the environment near a planet, as opposed to something that's just been out orbiting the sun. I mean, it's not. I'm trying to think if most of the moons would still be. Definitely, Jupiter's moons would be inside of its magnetosheath.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the other gas giants, and that offer some measure of protection from cosmic rays and from other things that could affect the evolution of surfaces and atmospheres. So having something that's just been out there on its own all this time, like Pluto, could give us some really really neat new stuff.
And we know that there's some color variation on the surface, but not what from. So that'll be pretty exciting.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say those ultra-high resolution maps where each pixel is something like 300 by 300 miles across or something, right? So. Yeah.
You can count how many pixels are in the picture. You can sit there and count them. No, I was just going to say, somebody asked if we were going to have Jupiter up on the West Coast, and we have one of our astronomers who might be joining us a little later with Jupiter. I'm not sure. I don't think it's up for the West Coast people yet. Is that correct, Gary?
It's on the horizon.
It's getting there.
I can see Aldebaran over the fence here and over the mountain. So Jupiter is going to be like 3 minutes behind it. But of course, with it being that low, you're not going to be able to get good detail from here.
Right. I'm seeing.
But it's coming. Oh wait, is that a plane? Sorry, that was a plane. It's not Aldebaran. Okay. It's in the right place.
No, I do it all the time until it starts blinking. Like.
Yeah, that kind of tipped me off. I'm like, oh, the seeing's pretty. Oh wait, there's blue lights as well as red. Never mind.
I did see what was it? Sirius, really low on the horizon once from an observatory, and it was blinking and changing colors, and we're standing there going, "Is that a UFO?" Until we put together that we were looking at Sirius really low on the horizon.
You serious about that?
But it's okay. I love puns. Helen is asking if we could see the Pleiades tonight. Now I know that's rather large. You need a large field of view for that.
We can, although with my filters you don't see much.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of hydrogen in it.
Right.
I might be able to do better. I've got M33 in there now, but let me
Sure.
Let me bring up M33 and then I can see if I can swing over the Pleiades a bit here. So.
Okay. Good.
Here, galaxy.
And another request as well for M1, which I believe is the Crab.
That is the Crab, and it's very, very low for us right now. So.
So what do we look? Hmm?
I did see it last night, so I can get it, but not right now.
Cool. So what is this, Gary? The
This
crescent?
is the Crescent, Caldwell 27.
Mm-hmm.
And that again is a 2-minute exposure under hydrogen alpha.
Is this in the plane of the Milky Way? Because there's a
Uh,
lot around it as well.
Yes, it's in, I believe it's Cygnus.
Okay.
Yep, the crescent is in Cygnus, very near Satyr, or very near Gamma Cygni.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's blinking. Gary, you're blinking.
I don't know why I'm solid here, so it's got to be my feed into the Hangout for some
There's a loose
reason.
wire. There's a loose wire. You just need to kick it.
Yeah, here, let me wiggle things around.
Yeah, wiggle the wires. First rule of radio astronomy. It's not working. Wiggle the wires. Oh, that is funky little shape. I love it.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Oh, here's a good question from Danielle. This is actually a good question, not a stupid question. It says, is it possible to see man-made stuff like the space station or satellites?
yes, probably not through our scopes. I mean, we're more set up to track things that are in the sky and moving at the same rate that Earth's rotation shows here. There's a guy in, I believe, France. His name is Thierry. Excellent at it. I mean, he has shots of the space station passing in front of the sun, in front of the moon.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very, very good at this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I would suggest if you want to see, you can see a lot of satellites. You can see the ISS. They have these large solar panels that reflect light, and you can see them with the naked eye streaking through the sky. You may have already seen one and not known it. So I would recommend you go to heavensabove.com. You can put in your location, and it'll tell you when the next bright satellite flare or International Space Station pass will be for you. Early morning or evening right after sunset is a good time to catch them.
also, spaceweather.com has listings as well. It probably just uses Heavens Above, but
Mm-hmm.
all right. Now, unlike Gary, I am shooting full color.
Okay.
So.
Do you have a galaxy for us?
Almost.
Galaxy.
Start the drum roll.
And everyone just reaches for their ears and screams. Like,
Stop it!
sorry. I got excited. My drum is downstairs. So I actually do have a drum. But
Just have to improvise.
Yes, I have to improvise. NatFan4 says he uses Wolfram Alpha for information on satellite passings. I did not know you could do that.
Yeah, they have some of everything at their sites at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I come to this.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Georgia. I'm sorry. I'm replying to comments and not telling you what they say.
How about that for M33?
What?
Yeah!
Oh, that's gorgeous.
2-minute exposure. So, and
That is really cool. Sorry.
So,
Just had an astronomy spasm.
there's that's like no stacking or anything. Just
Wow. Wow.
That's
So the M33 is a great example of a flocculent spiral, which is just one of my favorite words in
a
astronomy.
sheep spiral, right?
Sheep spiral?
Isn't that flocculent?
I've never heard that.
Like puffy, like cotton balls?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah,
So
that's where flocculent
So
comes from.
it's a
right.
sheep spiral then. Okay.
It's a sheep
Right.
spiral. I just like the word
Okay.
flocculent, flocculent. So it's got these messy spiral arms. They're not, nice, neat, grand design spiral arms. They're kind of messy. And the color is just stunning. Wow.
Yeah, that came out great.
Thanks. Yeah, well, actually,
You just made me astronomy nerdgasm all over the place. It was awesome.
all right. Let me. I'm going to disappear again for a while as I head over to the scope, and I will see about picking up some of the Pleiades. Give me a second here.
right.
Enjoy the silence.
Sure. I am loving the sheep spiral. Yeah. M33 is a galaxy that doesn't have a pronounced bulge in the center like the Milky Way or Andromeda. And so there's recently been some work looking at galaxies like this to see whether or not they have a supermassive black hole in the center like normal bulgy galaxies do. And I don't know what I think M33 has a smallish, in quotes, supermassive black hole. I'm not sure of that, but that's been the new thing is whether or not the galaxy bulge or the black hole came first, and what that means in terms of galaxy formation. So yeah, more than just a pretty picture, actual cool science to go along with the pretty picture that you're seeing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm an extragalactic girl. I love it. In a word, shiny. That's right. It is shiny, Sensoka. Thank you. And we have a comment saying that spirals can also be flatulent because they have a lot of gas. And that is absolutely true, because spiral galaxies tend to still be, unlike ellipticals, they tend to still be actively forming stars out of their gas, and so yes, they are flatulent. I guess if it has, I guess an AGN is really flatulent because that's really expelling gas out, out of the center. So what else do you have up there, Gary?
Pulling one up right now.
But while I continue to compare galaxies to bodily functions, destroying any integrity the virtual star party ever had.
Okay, this is one with a
oh, here we go.
With a satellite in it.
That answers your satellite question right there. How about some serendipity?
Mm-hmm.
What is behind the satellite?
This is IC 1795. Last week I did the Heart Nebula, and this is at the northern tip of the Heart Nebula. So down here this is the Heart Nebula starting down here. So this has its own IC number, so I figure we haven't imaged that before, so I would throw that one on there.
Excellent, excellent.
And I see that Eric Dorman, well, this is my first virtual star party. Can you please see if you can get M87?
Oh.
And I think I can do that.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. There's that satellite. We think that's a satellite probably, right? I don't.
Yeah, the planes usually, you can see the blinking lights.
Okay, so there's like multiple trails. Like dotted lines. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be dotted lines, exactly.
And what about a meteor? Do those come through too quickly? They don't.
Well, it would show up. It would definitely show up if it was there.
Okay.
M87 is. I'm trying to read this right. I think it's not visible right now. It's.
M87, also known as Virgo A. Is a favorite radio galaxy of mine. So maybe I'll post you a radio image of M87 once we're finished. So even though you can't, even if we can't see it tonight, you can get a nice look at it because it's spectacular as a radio galaxy.
M87 is not above the horizon at the moment.
Oh, sadness. So Tom couldn't get his end to work, so he's just going to sit back and enjoy. Thanks for trying, Tom. Sorry. And Hamad Kumar is asking if NGC 508 is available.
Not sure where that is.
There's a lot of small galaxies in that field of view as well.
Now, one thing I could get from here is the Sculptor Galaxy, which I know we've talked about a couple times.
Cool.
I was looking at it last night, but I'm working on a 1-minute shot of the Pleiades right now.
Excellent,
so
excellent.
See how this looks.
If you have binoculars, the Pleiades look stunning and easy to find with binoculars. I always recommend that. I'm going to switch back to your M33 picture again because it's so pretty. Oh, man. I love it.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
That is good. That is excellent. Now, are there any post-processing steps that you can do to it, or is this, you're going to post it as is?
All I did was subtracted out the background and then stretched the colors a bit, and boom. So, because 2 minutes gets you fairly low light levels, but stretched out, that's what you get there.
Yeah, and you have a color CCD already, so you don't have to worry about combining images.
Exactly.
That's excellent. That's super.
I just put up a 2 minute of the same one. The one we had up was a 1 minute exposure of 1795.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so the center's bled out a bit, but you can see more detail outside.
Let me zoom in a wee bit.
And some dark dust flames as well.
Yeah. Now I am shooting this bin 4x4, so you can start to see my square stars.
Yep, there they are. Nyquist, what's that?
They really aren't square, folks, but when you bin that much, I'm basically taking 16 pixels and turning them into one.
Yeah.
So I get a lot more light in a short period of time. Normally, if I'm shooting this stuff, I'll shoot 10-minute exposures, 5 to 10-minute exposures, and stack anywhere from 3 to 20 of them. But for this, to get a 1 minute or 2 minute exposure by binning, I get a lot more light.
Right, you get it faster. You're turning each pixel. If using the bucket analogy, you're just using bigger buckets. If each pixel is a bucket, you're making the buckets bigger.
Exactly. Okay, let me see. We got the crescent.
I did pay attention in my optical astronomy grad student class. I may not have been very good at it, but I paid attention. Oh, and I haven't even noticed, I'm drinking out of my Charlottesville Astronomical Society mug, so shout out for the Cass guys, doing good stuff in Central Virginia. We need to get them in on the virtual star party as well, because they have some really fun scopes as well. Tom's asking how you get such good focus.
Carefully. As a matter of fact, I just the other night, and I was playing with this before we started setting up autofocus. So I do have motorized focus, and then there's a program out there that'll run through it. There's also, as you saw before we came on the air, a Botanoff, or however you pronounce it, Botanoff mask.
Yes, the Botanoff mask. Da.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. It gives you an X and then a line through the middle, and you just adjust it so that the line is right between the arms of the X.
Okay.
And you are in perfect focus. So it's a nice, for the really geeky people out there, it's essentially a Fourier transform with a mask applied, and the transform into the space on the pixels. It gives you this really great tool for seeing whether you're focused or not. So
that's really cool. That's really cool.
Just as an interesting note, because I'm shooting a very fast f1.9, my focus is very critical, and it will change over 15 or 20 minutes. When the temperature's changing, I'll get quite a change in focus.
Gotcha.
Which is like regular photography, that if you the lower your f number, the more your I know what the word is and I can't think of it, depth of field. So what's in focus? So if you're shooting f11, f12, everything's in focus. You get around f2 and not much is in focus.
Right. Now, do you have to change focus depending on if you move your telescope a lot? Are the components stable enough that you can switch from one side of the sky to the other without having to refocus?
I haven't found any problem with moving it. It's just temperature. So again, if I'm shooting, what I've done is I actually got a little portable air conditioner, so a few hours before I start shooting, I could cool down in my dome. But I'll still, if the temperature's changing much during the night, I'll every half hour or so stop imaging and run another focus.
Okay.
So it does change.
Yeah. We had a question asking about the size of the telescopes, so maybe you guys can give a quick rundown of the equipment that you're using tonight.
Okay. Well, I'm using a Celestron, 14-inch. In fact, I'll give you a shot of it right here.
Yeah, Gary's nice and warm in his control room.
Yeah. This is my telescope, and when I'm shooting long, this is the guide scope on the top. So that I'll follow a star, lock into a star, and follow it. But this is a 14-inch Celestron, and the camera's up in the front. So
Right.
I believe that's called prime focus, although I've heard it called different things.
Yes.
Yep.
So rather than bouncing back off a mirror in the front and back down to the, which is normal setup for the scope, I get a much wider field of view. As we can see right here as I bring this one up. Let me stretch it a little bit.
Thad, I'm going to go over to you if you want to tell us your setup while we gaze at the Pleiades.
So, yeah, so I don't know how well I could center. I mean, the Pleiades take up more than one frame of the field of view in my my scope, but I'm also shooting at prime focus with a 9¼ inch Celestron Edge HD Schmidt-Cassegrain. Let's see, and typically I would guide also with a small refractor off to the side, but these images we're doing here are only a minute or two, and I was able to polar align last night, and so they're pretty stable. An exposure of just a minute or two, I'm not seeing any drifting in the stars or anything. So, yep, so that's what I've got going.
So cool.
So,
I love it.
Let's see. So should I try for Sculptor then?
Sure. But yeah. So we're looking at the Pleiades, which is a fairly young star cluster, and you can actually see some of the blue color from these really young, blue, live fast, die hard stars that give the Pleiades its color.
I'm pretty sure they're all B6s or B7s for the most part.
Yeah. So they're not. They're definitely in the B. So OB a fine girl / guy kiss me is the classification of stars that every Astronomy 101 student has to memorize. So B are fairly hot and blue and large, massive stars.
All right, so I'll duck out again and see if I can pick up NGC 253 here.
Excellent.
Be right back.
And let's switch back over to Gary. Wow, I think you found the rip in the universe.
This is the Pelican Nebula.
Okay, I think it's the rip in the universe from Doctor Who, but
yeah, it's also looks kind of like a rabbit with the eyes here and the nose and its ears coming back here.
Wow.
But yeah, Doctor Who could be in one of these little dust lanes.
Yeah, because there's that crack in Amy Pond's wall where like the universe is tearing apart.
Well, there it is right there. There
it is. Watch out, the angels are coming for you. That is really cool.
We're really sick.
Just a little. And where is this in the sky?
This is in Cygnus. It's right next to the North American Nebula.
Okay.
Right up the top of the picture is the North American Nebula, and I'm pretty sure it's in Cygnus.
Okay. That's just great, because Cygnus, the constellation of Cygnus, the Swan, flies right along the Milky Way, and so all these great nebulae and objects in our galaxy are along that line.
I don't know why I'm blinking on
You're
and
blinking.
off.
Don't blink!
I'm sorry. I'll keep my eyes open.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, James. Somebody beat me to it. Don't blink. Yeah. Another question, Gary. Can you image with your guide scope for a wider field of view?
No, actually, my guide scope is a narrower field of view.
Okay.
So it picks up less of the sky than this one. If I was again shooting with the camera at the back of the scope, which would be f11, then my guide scope would be wider.
Right. Okay.
But the guide scope, I just have a little. It's actually a little Orion camera that's designed specifically for that. Let's do this.
Now, there we go.
This right here is the Orion Starshoot Auto Guider.
Okay.
and then this is actually an Orion short tube 80 millimeter scope.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I do guiding, and then this is the USB cable coming in, and there's a phone type cable that goes right down to my mount. So as soon as I lock onto a star in the software, it continually readjusts the mounts. And normally when I'm auto guiding, I'll do a 1 to 2 second exposure. So every second to 2 seconds, it'll make a little adjustment to the mount to try to keep it lined up.
Okay. Cool. And is it typical to have a prime focus camera on a scope like that? I don't think I've seen that too often.
No, it's actually not difficult. And it.
Oh no, is it typical?
Hang on a second.
Party crashers. When I hear about prime focus, I remember the stories that my professor used to tell me about. On large research grade telescopes, the astronomer would sit in a cage at the prime focus of those telescopes holding the photographic plates for hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, hardcore astronomy in the days before CCDs. But I was wondering if it was typical to put it there. Do people usually put it at the prime focus, or is that unusual?
It's somewhat unusual. As far as the scopes I know, only the Celestron allows what's called a fast star assembly. That lets me take out the secondary mirror and mount the camera at that point. And in all honesty, it makes things. It actually makes my imaging easier because I've got a wider field of view.
You have a wider field of view. You have less components to go through.
Right, and I did some. I actually did some math. I think last time I talked about this a little bit, the presentation I did at my club.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I've got about 1.5 arc seconds per pixel with this camera.
Wow.
And normal amateur conditions, you're not going to get any better than 2 arc seconds per pixel.
Yeah. Wow.
Sub arc seconds, good. So I figure if I have more magnification, all I'm doing is spreading it over more pixels.
Right. I love it. You're seeing limited. That's so fantastic.
Yeah. So look at this. What do we got here?
I think we've been joined by Mitchell. Once you get your audio, say hello, everyone, Mitchell.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So the Pelican, aka the crack in the universe. It's fantastic. It's blinking. But oh.
I have no idea why it's doing that.
I'll switch over to the Pleiades again before we lose that. Mitchell, how are you? ... I think Mitchell is going to try and get Jupiter for us, so I am very excited. I think this is not the actual live Jupiter that his picture is showing. That is his icon, but that's a little teaser for you. So hopefully we'll have Jupiter up in a bit. I would like to remind anyone watching, you can send us questions or requests or comments and whatnot. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can comment there. If you're watching on Google+, you can comment there. We're catching all of those. Sorry, there's no event page this time, as I kind of pulled this together last minute, so there's no place to comment on that. And if you're watching somewhere and want to use Twitter, use the hashtag #StarParty. And we will see that as well. So I see we have some very excited people for the Pleiades, beautiful sisters, and nice Subaru, all other names for the Pleiades star cluster, the Seven Sisters, Subaru, which I do now have a Subaru. I do now drive a Subaru, so I've got the Pleiades on my car, which is awesome. And
okay.
Yeah.
And this is this would not be a good target for me at all because there's not a lot of hydrogen here.
Right.
You can see the blue, which is probably an oxygen or something in that range.
It's reflecting just a little bit of the gas that's left from the star-forming region that created this cluster, and it's reflecting the blue light of the stars. So there's very little gas left, but that is what gives it that little glow, that extra bluish glow if you're looking. I mean, this is a naked eye object. I do encourage you to use binoculars, but it's a naked eye object as well. It kind of looks a little bit fuzzy to your eye, and it's not, you know, you're not seeing things. It really does have a little bit of a glow to it.
So I'm still working on getting 253 in here.
Okay.
So part of it is that once I set things up for photography, I can't rely on the go-to functions anymore. So
okay. That is showing us hardcore astronomy out in the field. None of this control room heated thing. Okay, and it looks like Gary's got a new image up as well.
This is NGC 7380. This is one I have not imaged yet. I'm just putting the thing on it. It's listed as an open cluster, but looking through the star program, I noticed that there was some nebulosity in there. So this is a 1 minute bend at 4x4. Right now I'm doing a 2 minute bend at 2x2, so we can zoom in a little bit as soon as that comes up.
Okay.
About 87, 88 seconds into it.
Yeah, if that's an open cluster, it's still forming. There's a lot of gas there still.
Yeah, so it's NGC 7380, and they listed it as an open cluster. But there's a lot going on in here.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're just about done with the 2 minute. Okay.
And it looks like Mitchell is trying to get Jupiter for us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hop over there.
Well, there's a bunch of good little galaxies in Sculptor, and I shouldn't even say little. I mean, there's some nice sizable ones here. It's just a matter of getting lined up on them here. So there's Beta Cetus. It's almost straight down. Okay. Be right back again.
All right. Our intrepid explorer. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear pages turning. Those are pages of the Uranometria 2000. The one collection of about 450 maps of the sky. So.
Wow.
Well, back to the scope. Be right back.
All right, all right. You hear that? This is what people did before Google Sky and, you know, all these apps. We had books. I have a Norton Star Atlas somewhere that I used when I was a TA at UVA. So we have a blinking Jupiter. But it looks like it is sticking around in the field of view for Mitchell here. But blinking. So you can see the cloud bands, the storms on Jupiter.
There's got to be something going on with Google Plus tonight.
Yeah, because you guys are both having the blinky problem. Everybody needs to tighten their coax. I don't know. There we go. Back. Is this the same image, or is this a new one, Gary?
This is the 2 minute.
This is the 2 minute. Okay.
Yeah, so this is 2 minute bend 2x2, so I could zoom in a little bit farther.
Yeah.
Without it becoming too square, and you can start to see the dark dust lanes in here. So this is this again is another one that I have not I haven't imaged before. I just there's zoomed out. I just came across it looking this afternoon for what I wanted to see. Like I said, it's listed as an open cluster, so there's a new one for the books. Fraser's
There's a new one.
Jealous.
Live here on the virtual star party without Fraser. Yeah, sadness.
Yeah. He'll hate us. Okay.
And surprising amount of nebulosity, indeed. Yeah, I agree. It's that's no open cluster. That's still got nebula bits.
That's no open cluster. That's my wife. No, wrong joke. Wait a minute.
Brady's never gonna let me host again, ever. Oh, I lost Jupiter.
Yeah, well, that was my wife earlier calling on the intercom.
Okay.
Since I said we weren't doing it, she wanted to know if I wanted to come in and watch Dexter.
Oh, okay.
Love that show. Love it.
I have only seen a bit of the first season. I don't have television. I have whatever I can grab onto. Oh, speaking of TV, there was an earlier question that I forgot and was going to answer, asking if there was, saying that they enjoyed the Universe documentary and was wondering if there was any more in-depth documentary, than History Channel's The Universe about astronomy. And I haven't seen all of The Universe. I've seen, several scattered episodes, and that I really enjoy. I, of course, recommend Cosmos because it was just Carl Sagan's 78th birthday, and I love Cosmos. That holds up really well if you want to learn about astronomy. Gary, do you have any suggestions on astronomy TV or documentaries that you enjoy?
Oh, boy. Can't think of any off the top of my head. All of them that I can find on Discovery and the Science Channel.
Mm-hmm.
They just come up with some great ones. The whole, not particularly astronomy, but the whole thing that Morgan Freeman did was really good.
Yeah. It was kind of a theoretical physics type thing, right?
Yeah, well, he talked about different things, was there life after death,
Oh,
so,
right.
And The Universe is a good series, so I just catch the ones I can, and I try to record all that stuff so I can watch it when I have time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out something else to shoot here.
Okay.
I don't multitask real well, so if I'm talking, I can't do anything else.
You must entertain us several ways at once. Visual and auditory.
I'm too old for that.
Trying to think of what I tend to like things that are more history of astronomy. I catch documentaries that are more along those lines. Thad, we had a question a little earlier from someone who enjoyed History Channel's The Universe and was wondering if we had any other astronomy documentary, anything that's more in depth or something that you enjoyed particularly.
I should be more up on these because it would certainly be a way to save time in the classroom, right? Not having the lecture. Here, I'll just play this. No, I always hated when professors would do that. I try to avoid that as much as possible. Let's see. There's a couple of Stephen Hawking's, mysteries of the universe or something like that, and he talks about things like time travel and alien life and whatever. Those are okay. I think the big one, and we're probably a bunch of us waiting for this, is Neil deGrasse Tyson redoing. Woo! Nice Jupiter. Redoing Cosmos next year on. This past, in honor of Carl Sagan Day, I went on to Netflix and was watching the old Cosmos, and I don't know. It's just it's for somebody who might be just first getting into it. I could see where it'd be good, but I'm watching him nope, we know that better now. Nope, we know this better.
Yeah.
Now. So, although his delivery is quite grand at times, imagine that it would possibly put people to sleep if they are not used to the way that he speaks.
Oh, I love it. I am still completely captured by it, but that's just me. I don't know.
That's great. I did get to see him speak live a couple of times.
Really?
So, yeah. Once when I was in high school, and then when I was my first try at my PhD at Florida State.
Wow.
Just captivating live speaker.
So, I'm so jealous.
So, thanks.
Oh, I'm so jealous. No, the movie Contact was and the book were huge influences on me. It's
I'm glad I did them in the order of movie and book, because if I'd read the book first and then saw the movie, I'd probably been like, wait, there's 5 of them. What do you do? So
yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, I read it first, then saw the movie.
Gotcha.
And so, oh, wait a minute. No, this isn't right. But they were both good.
They were both good. But that movie made me think. You guys can probably figure out how old I am now. I was 13 when that came out in theaters, and I was like, oh, I want to be an astronomer when I grow up because of that movie. So, you know.
Honestly, I think the best thing in the film, though, is the zoom out at the beginning, and you're hearing the radio signals.
Yeah.
We're losing your audio, Thad.
Oh, you still are? Or?
You're a bit low, yeah.
Yeah, real low.
We are getting a whole bunch of recommendations. Ooh.
This is part of the problem. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, sorry. We were getting a whole bunch of recommendations from the comments as well. BBC Wonders of the Universe, which I think has Brian Cox, which is big in the UK. I have not seen it. I would love to because Brian Cox totally amuses me. He's really fun.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, and How the Universe Was Made is also pretty good. And no, there's just lots and lots of comments for Wonders of the Solar System, Wonders of Life. These are all the Brian Cox ones in the UK. And also the Planetary Society offers a free online class by Dr. Bruce Betts, and that has also been recommended as well. Oh, and we have new picture.
This is the Cocoon Nebula.
Ooh.
This is a 1 minute 4x4 bin, and now I'm doing a 2 minute 2x2 bin, so we'll be able to zoom in a little bit.
Okay, cool.
But this guy's fun.
And where is the Cocoon Nebula on the sky?
Why do I know you were going to ask me that?
I don't know. Because it tells me whether or not it's in the plane of the galaxy, that's why.
That's one that I have to look at.
It's in Cassiopeia, isn't it? Cassiopeia.
There you go.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, because there's the Celestron controllers. They give you this. Here's a list of named objects, and my students were just, let's go look for this. Let's go look for this last night. And so I saw, okay, it's on the Cocoon. Where are we pointed? I was glad they were taking advantage of that, though. It's a pretty friendly introduction. And I found out the problem with my audio, and it's I think something that can happen when you're trying to do this in the dark. I put my headset on backwards, so the microphone was at the back of my head.
That explains it. That explains it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, it's actually it's in Cygnus.
It's in Cygnus. Okay.
Oh. Right on the border of Cygnus with Lacerda.
Lacerda. Okay, I would mention that last week. I guess my brain is freezing out here, so I'll use that as my excuse.
There you go.
It's 44 degrees here. It's got to be real cold where you are.
Let's see. When I started, the temperature sensor on the CCD was saying 10 degrees Celsius. By now, it's definitely going to be single digit. Well, pretty darn low.
Ooh, we're blinking. There we go. So this is another emission nebula. So our Gary's H-alpha filter really helps bring out the emission, and it actually looks like there's some dust around it as well. The background star field is kind of, when it's not blinking, you can actually see it seems to be part of a dusty area as well. Sort of a dust lane.
Here's there's a 2x2 bin.
Okay.
So we can.
Wow.
Yeah, there is a dark area around it here.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, just since we started, you can see I'm losing focus. If you look at some of these smaller stars in here.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
But it's not worth it to stop to refocus right now.
Yeah, no, because it's still making a beautiful image.
Mm-hmm. So that's the Cocoon.
It's a Cocoon. It's emission, H-alpha, and dust lanes within it. I mean, it looks like there's some dusty parts within it as well.
All right, so that is the Sculptor Galaxy.
Switch back over. Whee! Look at that!
NGC 253. Nice
Cool.
edge-on spiral. And there's just looking at the Uranometria, it looks like there's a bunch of fairly large being nearby, spiral galaxies in Sculptor. So I think I'm going to have to do some more playing around in there tonight once we're done with the broadcast here. So I'll definitely upload any other images I get to the. Well, wait, do we have an event?
No, we didn't have an event.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I forgot that as well.
I guess we'll just have to find some repository for uploading.
We will make an after the fact event just for loading pictures.
There we go.
I can do that. I have access to the virtual Star Party page.
Okay.
We can do it. Oh, that's really cool. And this looks like it doesn't have much of a central bulge either. I'm not as good with the hedge-on spirals, but
no, it's it looks like it'd be pretty loosely organized, although it's hard to tell with this angle. I mean, you're kind of looking almost directly into the disk from the side, so it's going to be very difficult to discern spiral arms. So.
Yeah. Oh, and Tim Ferriss' Seen in the Dark is another PBS special. It gets into the romance of amateur astronomy. That's another excellent, yeah. Any interest, does anyone have Comet Hergenrother?
I don't.
I don't either, and I don't have an ephemeris to track down where it is.
So I don't think we'll get that. We got that about a few weeks ago. And Neil Tyson's Star Talk podcast is now also a video cast on the Nerdist channel. So that is a fun place for learning about astronomy. And of course, plug Astronomy Cast because, Fraser and Pamela, we love them. Should all be listening to Astronomy Cast. I would listen to that when I couldn't take studying for quals anymore, my qualifying exams. I would listen to that because it was like studying but also goofing off.
Yeah.
Like that actually helped me study for the master's qual. It was Astronomy Cast.
I just realized with the Wi-Fi out here, I might actually be able to work on some of the research I'm supposed to present at AAS.
You know what? Give yourself a break. You're doing outreach. Give yourself a break. I know. I haven't started either. Scott Lewis and I are both like, we have to start our posters and stuff. We're doing. What are you presenting on?
I'm in the Galaxy Cluster section. I'm basically rerunning my dissertation studies using SDS SDR9 instead of SDS SDR6, which I used for my dissertation. So cool. But but it's like, oh well, wait, I can correct for this. Oh wait, I shouldn't have corrected for that because now I'm getting results I don't understand.
So yeah, SDSS is the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, which is a 2.5 meter telescope in New Mexico, which has been amassing large amounts of data on the sky, stars, quasars, galaxies, and it's all available. It's all publicly available, and so it's been a huge boon to astronomy, observational astronomy, because you don't have to have your own telescope. You can use the Sloan archives to do a fair amount of research. And so data release 9 is what they're up to now.
Correct. Yep.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah.
So it's essentially the largest color picture ever taken of the sky is how it's advertised.
Excellent. Yeah, they have... Oh man, I was out there when they had before they gave away all those plates, they had these big metal plates with holes in them where all the targets of interest, like the quasars, were. And they would feed fiber optics to all these little holes in these plates in order to get spectra. And so what they've done is they've given these plates away to educational institutions and astronomy departments to put on display. Because that would be a really cool exhibit.
I should be able to get one of those.
You should. You should. You totally should. I can't remember if University of Virginia got one, but I wanted to like someone needs to make a dome of the sky with these metal plates with holes in them because it's just fantastic.
And the thing is, there's significant chunks of the sky that are missing because the whole idea is you want to feed one galaxy into each optical fiber or one quasar. And so places like the Sloan Wall is what it's called. The galaxies are so dense that they can't do the spectroscopic redshift surveys in those regions because there's no way to isolate, oh, this galaxy is going to go into this fiber. There's just too much overlap.
Yeah.
So.
That is interesting. Yeah, so Sloan Digital Sky Survey. Awesome research initiative.
So do we have any requests from any other like kind of southern
Let's
sky
see.
galaxies or objects? Because I've got nice view. LA's wiping out a little bit of the west for me.
How about we just have just a general how about any ARP galaxies?
ARP galaxies.
See, I don't know if that's a challenging question.
I don't know off the top of my head, and the thing is, they tend to be fairly distant. So, in my field of view, I mean, when you're looking at that image that I shot there, that's almost a degree along the long side of the image. So, larger objects are going to be better for me to go after here.
Right. Yeah, so. Yeah. The ARP catalog is they're kind of unusual. I think they're originally unusually shaped galaxies, and we now know a lot of them are highly have high star formation rates and interactions. So that is a cool catalog. If there are any other planets, I think we lost Mitchell's feed, so I don't think we have any other planets that are up right now. Is that correct?
Well, Uranus and Neptune are, but here's a blue dot. Okay, we're done. So, here's a slightly greenish dot that's a little bit bigger. All right, that's it. So. All
right, so if we have, they're up, but unless we have overwhelming. How about Alberio? Is Alberio? Can anyone get Alberio?
Let's see. I'm kind of set up for the east part of the sky right now.
Right.
I can see it visually perfectly right now. I'm looking right at it.
Go outside and look up.
Wait, the chip in the back of my head that's feeding out the live view through my eyeballs. You can't detect that?
Okay. All right. So sorry, no Alberio tonight with the telescope.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We don't know what's going on with Stewart. Stewart is usually our double star and
I think he's clouded out.
Nebula.
Yeah.
I think he's clouded out tonight. Yeah. Sorry, we're limited on scopes tonight. What about NGC 1961?
Let me look it up.
That is from Tom, who was in here earlier. Or what is
I think that's going to be too far to the east right now.
For you, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be up for either of us.
Okay.
Because if I remember correctly, Orion is 1975. The Orion Nebula, so that would be right along that kind of...
Okay.
Yeah, unless it's pretty far to the north, I don't think that's going to be an option for us.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I may be able to get it. 1961, huh?
NGC 1961, yes. Ooh.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be real exciting in mine, but I'll shoot for it.
Okay.
What I've got up right now
is
a nebula that I can't figure out the name of. On the Sky program,
we're going to call it Nebula Fraser.
Yes. I found it on the Sky Wandering Around, SkyX software, and there's no designation for it that I could come up with. I'm sure there is one somewhere. Yeah. And I think this is in the Cygnus also.
Okay.
So that was just a little, we'll call it Nonami.
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 Nonami blob. If you don't know what it is in astronomy, you call it a blob.
There's a pretty good globular just off to the side from NGC 253 where I'm aimed right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's get some old stars. Let's do it. Right.
It's 288, so I'm going to disappear again as I slew about a degree to the south and a degree to the east here.
All right.
And line up again.
Sounds good.
So BRB.
BRB. We have a blinking
LOL.
no-name galaxy. Sorry, nebula. So this is another, just another bright spot, probably star-forming region in Cygnus. There's a lot of activity.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. I'll pop back over to Sculptor Galaxy as well, so we can look at that while that is setting up. Just look at the dust lanes you can see from the side of that edge-on spiral. That is super cool.
That is really beautiful.
I love it. I'm hearing rain outside my window, so there will be no going outside and looking at Alberio for me, because it is raining here. Very sad. Going back, making sure I see if I'm missing any comments. Planetary Radio is another recommendation for, I guess, a podcast or radio show. There's a lot of good content out there. I think if you are excited about astronomy or science or space. Oh, and NGC 7380, which we were looking at earlier, I think,
Yes.
is also called the Wizard Nebula. So I've got that. Wizard Nebula. Cool. Very cool. So if you have any questions, comments, the Wibbly Wobbly Nebula, awesome. Questions, comments, suggestions, requests, we'll take them from the YouTube page. I'm monitoring comments on the YouTube page if you're watching it there. If you're watching on Google+, they're picking up comments there as well. If you're on Twitter, you can use the hashtag StarParty. And yeah, I think those are all the places where you can comment. We have, Gary, have you heard of C43 or C44, Galaxies in Pegasus?
C43 is in Charlie?
Yeah, C is in Charlie.
And C44. I haven't heard of either one of them.
It said Galaxies in Pegasus.
But we'll take a look.
Okay.
This is the 1961 at a 4x4. I'm now doing an unbinned. Like I said, it's pretty small for my field of view.
It's itty bitty.
But I'm doing a 2-minute unbind. Let me see about C43 and C44. They don't ring a bell.
Galaxy in Pegasus. Caldwell. See, NGC 7814 is one of them. And it's an edge-on spiral. That is very tiny and pixelated.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's what you get.
Yeah, the 7814 is also pretty small.
Okay, yeah, so it'd probably be similar. It's a gorgeous Hubble Space Telescope image.
Yes, the Hubble definitely gets sub-arc second. Okay, let's see how this 2-minute unbinned exposure came out.
The unnamed one that we were looking at, Tom says that might be NGC 7026, aka the Cheeseburger Nebula.
Ah!
For all of you with the munchies. As I eat more popcorn. We seem to have lost Sad. I don't know if he lost his Wi-Fi connection.
It's just you and me, kid.
No.
And I'm pedaling as fast as I can.
Take over the world. And we have a question about the solar eclipse that's coming up in northeastern Australia. because it is in northeastern Australia, I don't know much about it. I know that there is a project going on to film it called Black Sun. I think you can look for them on, because whenever they tweet me, I think of the song Black Hole Sun. So there's a project to film astronomers in Australia as they track it. So I don't know much else about that upcoming solar eclipse. It's on November 13th, so that 13th and 14th, so it's coming up in just a few days. And the path of totality will cut right above the southeastern tip of, the northeastern tip of Australia. So it's not actually covering, it's going to mostly be over the Pacific Ocean, the path of totality on that one. I don't think we have anything planned for that here with the Virtual Star Party. Like I said, I know that there's a project for that's filming it. But that's about all we got. I am hanging on there for 2017? There's going to be a total solar eclipse that goes across the United States, and the path of totality will be like a half hour from where I live. So there will be a party in Illinois for the total solar eclipse, and you are all invited. I'm just going to say it right now.
That one sounds exciting.
Yeah, I will have a futon and sleeping bags, so you can all come crash with me. Come live grad student style, postdoc style.
This is an unbinned at 2 minutes. If I got, if I did some 10-minute exposures of this, it would be about that big.
Right.
But on a 2-minute, I'm just not getting enough light from it. Here's the full-size image. So it's just this little dot right here in the center.
Yep, little dot. Now so this is the whole chip that you're looking at here?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it gets lighter out at the edges.
That is because the 2-minute unbinned I didn't make flats for.
Okay.
So I need to make some flat images for that. I've got them for the 2x2 and the 4x4s, but I didn't generate the flat image. Or actually, I think it's applying a flat image that doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit, okay, gotcha.
So it's overcompensating.
So a flat is a calibration image where you're looking at nothing, basically. I don't know what you look at. When I used to do this as a grad student, we'd look at the dome or something like that, and the inside of the dome, and that will actually tell you what the how the CCD chip is actually getting light across it, and you're actually calibrating your image so that you get, like I said, a flat field. You get constant background all the way across, and that you want to do that for your astronomical imaging, and obviously if you're going to take science data out of it to get your most accurate results. We just totally geeked out about flat field.
Oh yeah.
I saw an opportunity to inject some more geekery for people who have not had to do such things.
Well, and for playing with this as a hobby, there's a whole lot of time spent doing flat fields and darks and bias and and then polar alignment. That's a 3 or 4 night if you're lucky.
Yeah, it's not just snapping a picture. A lot of work goes into it. What books might you recommend for someone who's getting into it? I know that I have a CCD book somewhere, and I can't remember who it's by.
Let's see. Stefan Sipe did one, although I bought it, but I haven't really ever used it.
Okay.
Let's see. Honestly, probably the best thing would be there's the cloudynights.com forum.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, if you're just getting into it, and the thing is, pick the section that's appropriate to you. They have sections for newbies, and they have sections for people who've been doing this for 25, 30 years. Generally, they'll kind of gently nudge you into the correct section based on whatever level you are. But there's an immense repository of really good advice that's there. So
cool. So what is that called again? Cloudy Nights?
CloudyNights.com.
CloudyNights.com.
Also, great advice for what scopes to buy, what cameras to buy, what image processing software, what's available for free, what to expect from each different thing. The last thread I was following, because my next purchase is going to be getting one of these Flea 3 cameras for planetary imaging because of Jupiter getting better and better.
Yeah.
And there was an argument as to whether 8-bit versus 12-bit images were better, and they had graphs that were done to show, well, if you're in this region, there's no difference. If you're in this region, then it's worth having the 12-bit image. So there's a lot of really, hardcore people into it there. So
I love it. I love it. That's great. So I think we should start wrapping up. If you guys have one last that you want to show.
I'm going to try to get M1. It's now come up high enough since it was requested.
There's a party
earlier.
in the Crab Nebula. You can come if you like. Dude, where's my car? That's my favorite line. Dad, do you have anything in the queue, or you?
Yep, I'm working on NGC 288. So right by the South Celestial Pole here. I have to wonder, is that the Krusty Krab Nebula, or is that?
Oh. Okay, and we have the SLU space camera will be covering the solar eclipse, and so they do Google Plus Hangouts as well and live video at SLOOH, SLOOH, space camera. So their website will have the eclipse for you guys.
It's funny, I look at this M33 shot I got, and I'm like, I'm going to go take a whole bunch more, and I'm going to stack them, and I wonder if it's going to even end up looking as good.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get any better. That was just right off the bat awesome.
In a way, it's almost discouraging. It's like, but I want to be able to mess with it with all these, and, it just may not end up looking as... You
know what? Just pat yourself on the back, because your first try was excellent. Just go with it. Just go with it. Krusty Krabs. Where's Frasier? Frasier is hanging out with family in honor of Remembrance Day, aka Veterans Day. So that's why I threw together this impromptu thing. Yeah, so 2017 solar eclipse is going to go through Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska, Missouri, so not actually Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina. We're all going to see the 2017 total solar eclipse. Oh, here we go. There's a party in the Crab Nebula.
That is just a 1 minute bin 4x4, so I can't zoom in a lot.
Yeah.
Again, this is one that really needs a long exposure, but there it is.
That's awesome.
It's pretty low on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you here real quick. Come on.
So the Crab Nebula is... oh, there you are. Yeah, you're like looking right at the ground.
I'm shooting way down there, and since I have it there all...
Still looks good, though. It still looks good. It looks stable.
Pretty well.
You see, it's not so bad.
Crab
Nebula...
Oh, sorry, I've got NGC 288.
Okay, let's take a look. Here comes Gary's camera, slewing at you in the face. All right.
Soon.
So we have Ooh, this is a globular cluster?
Yes.
Cool.
And it looks like it's fairly loosely organized. It doesn't look like it has that nice dense core like a lot of globulars do, but
yeah, it's not even like spherical. It looks triaxial in this image. I don't know.
But well, I mean, that's your animateria listed as a globular, and it's almost exactly at the South Celestial Pole or South Galactic pole. South Celestial Pole from Los Angeles.
How did you get down there?
I blame the cold. I blame the cold. It's freezing my brain.
Get some hot chocolate, please.
Yeah. So, but yeah, right near the South Galactic Pole. This and the Sculptor Galaxy are pretty much right there.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, these globular clusters. unlike all of these nebula that we're seeing that lie along the galactic plane, so lie along the plane of the disk of our spiral galaxy, globular clusters are all around the galaxy in a somewhat spherical distribution, so they're kind of buzzing around like bees. And these are the oldest things you will see with your eyes, which is really cool because globular clusters, the stars in these clusters were formed near the beginning of the universe, and so this is like 13 billion year old cluster that's still hanging around together, and every galaxy kind of seems to have its own complement of globular clusters that swim around in the halo.
And you almost can't look more out of the galaxy than this, right? This is South Galactic Pole, so not celestial.
Galactic, South Galactic.
Next week I'll be coming to you from Namibia. Yeah, I wish. Man, the sky's down there.
Oh, I know. Oh my God. I was in South Africa last year, and it was just mind blowing.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Was that for use when using the radio telescope down there? Or?
Yes, we were building PAPER, which is a radio telescope that's at the SKA site in South Africa. And so, yeah, I'm standing under the SKA. They have the Cat 7 dishes, which are the SKA precursor in South Africa. Just standing under this dish, looking up at the Milky Way, right, and the Magellanic Clouds, and the whole, because there's no civilization for hours and hours around, which is why we're there. It was amazing. Yeah. Yes. Get away from civilization if you want to see pretty skies.
Yes. So yeah, I got to go out to the Pans in Botswana when I was there in July of last year, and yeah, I mean, you hear people say, well, I can't see 10 feet in front of my face, and I've gotten pretty good, dark adaptation. No, from there, I could not see 10 feet in front of my face. Wow. It's the only place where that has been literally true.
Wow.
For me. So, and you get the center of the Milky Way, Sagittarius and Scorpius, was like 60, 70 degrees up in the sky.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. I still have dreams about that.
Yeah, sorry, Northern Hemisphere peeps. We don't get quite that view of the galactic center like the Southern Hemisphere does. So if you ever can get down there, do it.
Mm-hmm. So worth it.
Yeah. Gary, do you still have that Crab Nebula picture?
I do.
We'll put that up again.
Yeah, I just real quick. I put this up.
Yeah.
Because they talked about how I'm set up, and this is my camera right here.
There's the camera right at the prime focus.
This is the lens assembly. So the camera's right there with its cables coming out. I just figured since I was close, I'd pointed at the camera out there.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta give love to the Crab Nebula because it is awesome. It's a supernova remnant. It has a pulsar in the center, so it's this rapidly rotating, really dense star made of neutrons with, blasting radio pulses out into the galaxy, and as it's rapidly spinning. So there's some really dynamic stuff happening in the Crab Nebula. You can see it in radio, you can see it in X-ray, you see it in optical, you can see it in infrared. So there's a lot more here than what the optical eye can see, or the optical camera.
I decided to come back to my M33 to finish up here.
Yay! So we will finish up with the crab and this gorgeous M33. Excellent, excellent stuff. And
very nice.
Yeah, I'm just checking one last comments. Don't forget to show us the radio galaxy. Okay, I promised I would post a picture of M87. I'll do that right now because I forgot to set up an event. Why not? Just for giggles.
And thank you for uploading your Centaurus A1 that you had before.
Yeah,
also.
Yeah, no problem. I love that picture. That was at the end of that South Africa trip. That's what we got to see after just a little bit of calibration, which was pretty spectacular. M87. Why don't we just cheat and use Google and look at M87? In fact, instead of the radio image, I will show you the optical image because this is one of the few where you can see the quasar jet in optical, not just in radio, which is pretty fantastic. And hopefully I won't break the world by screen sharing. that might happen. You never know. Select a window. Here we go. Did I break the world? Wait. Here we go. I think I'm frozen.
Okay, there we go.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's there.
Looks like it.
Okay, I see the spinning pinwheel of Rainbow Doom. So, so there is the optical. So this is it's a massive elliptical galaxy, and it is shooting. This supermassive central black hole is shooting forth electrons and positrons in a jet that can be seen in both optical and radio, and probably X-ray and all that as well. So. Yeah, that's your exciting Google. This is what I can Google. There we go. This is what I can Google. Because it is raining. But I did promise to build a radio telescope at some point. It's going to be like squiggly lines and not very exciting if I try to do that in Virtual Star Party. But one of these days we'll have something non-optical.
Okay.
So yeah. I think that is it for tonight's impromptu virtual star party of awesome. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Thad. Thank you, Mitchell, who was in here with Jupiter for a bit. Oops, I'm screen sharing everyone's comments. and thank you, Tom. Even though you couldn't get your setup working, thank you for coming and joining us briefly. Dad's got his headlamp, which is awesome.
They're in honor of Stuart, who's clouded out.
In honor of Stuart, who's clouded
I'll be the red
out.
light. So.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Good night, guys.